Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey, and I am back to work on these covers that I created using journaling squares from Isis Ella Jules. This is more of a planner thing that I am converting into a junk journal cover. So in the first video, I created these covers, and I was going to just use them as is, but then I decided because they are little squares that have been glued together and they have the seam, and I don't really have anything that I could use as a grout to fill in those seams and to make it more smooth. I thought, wouldn't it be nice to make it some type of shaker cover? So if you've been watching, I just keep adding and adding and adding and doing more and doing more. So this is a case of me doing more. The problem that I ran into is how was I going to do the shaker cover? So I have a mess on the desk right now, but I decided to leave it so that I can show you everything that I have gone through trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And it turns out that what I didn't want to do is what I ended up doing anyway, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Okay, so I started out with this thick black chipboard that I've had in my stash for a very long time. I think I got it from Amazon years ago. And I cut 3/4 inch strips, and then I thought I was going to make a mitered corner frame for this. As you can see, my mitering did not come out very well at all. It probably wouldn't have mattered because I was thinking that I was going to build this up. And if I built it up, I wasn't going to try and do the miter. I was going to do something like this and just go around like that. Um, but after some thought, I thought that I would need too many layers in order to do the shaker because I have to put some type of acetate over it and have enough room in between the acetate and the base for the shaker pieces to move. I didn't want to do something that was going to have shaker elements inside, but they wouldn't move because the acetate was too tight. So I have to build up the edges to give it enough room for the shaker mix to work. Now, I'm still not sure that I have enough height on my frame to make that work, but we will see. And I do have options now because I've gone through quite a bit of a process trying to figure this out. So when I decided that these black pieces, even layered 2 pieces, probably wouldn't be enough, I went and cut some of just my lightweight chipboard to add another layer. On some of these, I've already gone along the edge with a black marker so that they would appear black, and then I was going to layer that in between like so. So that would give me a little bit more height, still not a lot. I didn't want to just keep layering, 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 but then I thought maybe I can add 2 layers of the regular chipboard, right? And then add the black on top. I also was considering of adding maybe wrapping or adding, I don't know, some type of decorative element on the actual frame. I haven't gotten that far. We still may be able to do that. So then when I decided, well, that's just too much layering, maybe I should try something thicker to begin with. I had an old piece of cardboard that I'd use for something else. So I cut out strips of the cardboard. Now, fortunately, this is a very thin cardboard. It's not the typical thicker cardboard. But then I had the problem of how would that look on the edge? Then I didn't want to have to go through and wrap all of these little pieces in black paper so that the cardboard wouldn't show, even though at one point I considered it because I took this black paper and wrapped it around just to see what it would look like. Again, the thing with the cardboard is I didn't want the corrugation to show. And even going over it in a black marker, let's see, can I find a piece where I did that? You would still be able to see that on the edge of the frame. See? So then I thought, well, maybe if I took a paintbrush and did that, that's too much. That's going too far. And again, it did not give me the thickness that I feel like I need. So what I had been avoiding was going to my Cricut and creating a frame and using my Cricut to cut out all the layers that I need. It would have been easier just to do that, but I didn't wanna deal with the Cricut. So I was gonna try it on the silhouette, but then, when I chose thick chipboard, it told me I needed a craft blade. I have an old silhouette. It's a Cameo 2, so it's not as easy to find the blades, I guess. But I did go on Amazon, but I'm like, I don't really wanna order a blade just for this. So I pulled out the Cricut because I haven't been using my Cricut. And I cut a bunch of these while I was just listening to some music, and it did fairly well. I was surprised. So I did 7 of them, probably should have done 8. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. I'll leave the top layer open, or I may even try to go back and cut a piece of heavyweight black cardstock if I have any left to be my top layer. I think that might be the best idea. I got out all of my sequins and beads and whatever glitter bits that I thought would work for this. I'm not sure about the glitter. That might not be a good idea. But I kind of made my own mix. I wish I had more pink, light pink to add to this, but I don't think the light pink would complement the back anyway. So I'm thinking I can use half of this in the front, half in the back. So that's the mix that I'm going to use. It's nothing special. It's pretty neutral. What I'm going to do is probably glue these 3 together. And I was thinking that I may still come in with the black, layer that underneath, then put this on top. Because I really want my shaker to move. I've had problems in the past where my shaker, everything was too tight and the shaker bits didn't move. So I kind of got hung up on making that work. Also, for my acetate, I don't really have any real acetate. So what I typically use is a sealed laminate pouch. This is pretty heavy. It's 5 mil, and I just sealed the pouch. I think it could work. This sheet had a few dings in it, so I'm not sure I want to use this one. Then I remember I have this printable transparency. This one is for the laser printer, and I rarely use my laser printer, so I have a ton of these left, and I thought maybe I could use these. I think this is a little thinner than I would want it to be, but this could work too. And really, how thick does it need to be? I guess it needs to be thick enough that it doesn't fall or cave down into my area. And yeah, this is kind of flimsy. I think the laminate pouch is probably the better idea. Now, I don't remember which side this is on. Yikes. And I don't know if it has one side that's printable and one side that's not. All right. So I think I'm going to go with the laminate pouch. I'm just going to laminate 2 new pouches. So in the meantime, what I need to do is clean up the mess, first of all. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and do the same process that I did with the other one. Since I already have these done, I'm going to go ahead and use them to make the base frame that will hold everything in place. Where's the other one? Okay. So that we're working with the same thickness on the front and the back. Also, these were originally 6 by 8, the covers. Because I've added the 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides, it's made the size 7.5 by 9.5. I don't think that's too big. I should be able to find papers to add to it to make it work. Initially, I considered making this traveler's notebook style, and I still might do that. Also, I need to think about my closure as well. Really, it probably would have been a better idea to put the closure underneath all of this before I glued it onto this chipboard, but maybe I can slide it in here. And I want a nice wide tie on this, and I'm not sure I have enough material to do that. We'll see. But in the meantime, what I'm going to be doing is gluing these together, and then I will decide what I'm going to use for my top layer, and I'll probably just paint the edges around um, the chipboard to make it black. So I'm just gonna bring you along as I work on this, but I just wanted to explain what I'm doing. Um, this is gonna be a process of doing things, letting it dry, et cetera, and hopefully I don't forget the steps. Maybe I need to write down what steps I wanna follow. I think the first thing that I definitely need to do is get my closure pieces together. And I think I'm gonna do an inset spine, so I don't feel like I need to worry too much about the spine area because it's going to be glued on the inside of this. So once these covers are done, they're gonna be nice and thick and sturdy, and also I won't have to worry about the squares popping off or getting worn on the corners because I could, I was starting to feel like maybe since they were exposed like this, over time they would be worn out. So with the acetate over them, that should protect the covers. You think? All right. So I'm going to get started on those processes and then I will catch you on the other side. So this is where I am now. What did I do since the last time we spoke? I did the layering, I did the painting. I'm not really happy with the edge. This is why I didn't want to have to do multiple layers because I knew it wasn't going to be a nice, clean, smooth edge. I could probably trim it, but I really don't want to get into that because that's just room for more error. Plus, I've already put the ties on. This one is up a little higher than it should be, I think, but it should be fine. I just used what I had left over and I did end up doubling it up. And yeah, I did the stacking. I still have one more layer to put over this. I'm just trying to decide if I want to emboss it. I think it's just going to be black cardstock. I don't have any 110 pound. I just have regular cardstock, 65 pound. And I don't know how that's gonna work. But I wanna do some type of special treatment to it. But this is what the edge looks like. See, I'm not real happy with the look of that, but I can probably paint over it again so that the glue doesn't show so much in places. I I could probably even sand it down. Like I said, I don't really want to get into messing with it too much because that just leaves room for more error. Some of my sequins are a little big and they still were getting stuck, for instance, like that one. But yeah, once I put it together, I'm not going to be able to bang the pieces around like this. So I don't know. And it looks like some is coming out, but it shouldn't come out anymore once I put that final top piece on. I think that should seal it all in fairly well. But I mean, it moves around some for the most part, right? Not too bad. All right, so here's the spine that I made. I was trying not to have the Fabri-Tac show through. Fabri-Tac and I don't really get along when it comes to fabric. I have a few spots here where it did seep through, but I tried to smooth it out um, so that I wouldn't have that seepage, but it did happen in a few places. This is my spine piece, the beginnings of it. I used Craft Tex. It's a paper that acts like a fabric, so you can wash it. It's extremely tear resistant. I have never actually been able to tear it or torn it, so I thought it would be a good choice for the spine. And then these two were going to go on here like this. Now, if I had thought about it before I put the fabric on top of the Craft Tex, I should have put another layer of something underneath this. I may end up putting it on the inside or I may put it on top of this. But this is how it's going to kind of be when it closes. All right. So I did do a little experiment off camera. Where did I do it? Here on this edge using a little of the gold what is it? Luster wax from Sizzix. This is called something else. There is a generic name for it. If I think of it while I'm editing, I'll put it on the screen. I do think I'm going to go over my edges with that if I can't think of something else to do. And that was also one of the techniques I was thinking of using on the top frame. I was going to emboss and then go over it with the wax, the gold wax. I think maybe a silver probably would be better, but I don't know. I'll test it out and see what it all looks like. But for now, this is where I'm at. I'm sorry about the glare, it can't be helped. But yeah, so I guess in the next video, we will come back and put it together. I think I'm gonna end this one here. I'm gonna go to the Cricut and cut the cardstock. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know this is like in the middle of the game. Also, oh yeah, I put the tape on this to hold it in place along with the glue. I'm not so sure how this is going to hold up. I also don't know what I'm going to put on this back side, but just thinking there is going to be another layer on this, I'll probably use just a regular scrapbook paper on that. So this is, let's flip this over. So this is what my inside is going to be. So if this is the inside, whatever I put here is going to go over this and over this. I want this to be behind it. So it needs to be something substantial. If it's just a regular cardstock and I glue that down, you are going to see the rumple and bumple of it. Maybe not so bad. It may be okay. I don't know. I'm gonna work it out, figure it out. I'll sleep on it. Then when we come back to work on it again, hopefully I'll know what I'm gonna do next. So that's it for this video. If you have any suggestions, ideas, drop them down in the comments. Also, let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.